Bismillah. Hey, and welcome to the iLife Academy Coaching Podcast. This is Abdul Shahid, and we are on episode number 32. You can find, we're going to talk about failure, how to handle failure, and how to turn it into a win. You see, we're getting to the end of the year, and right now, probably the biggest thing that people are struggling with, like many of us we struggle with, is not being able to achieve the goals that we set ourselves. And there are many, in this podcast I'm gonna share with you like lots of stuff about, I'm gonna share with you specific way to deal with failure and how to turn it around. Because the problem is, we go through year after year creating goals and then failing to achieve them. And as we do that, our self-esteem diminishes. Our ability to trust ourselves diminishes. And it creates the worst effect on your self-esteem, your confidence, and your ability to actually follow through and take action and actually create the life that you want. Now, the interesting thing is, I say that, and I'm talking to you, the person who's actually achieved lots in their life, right? And what I find all of the time is that we achieve so much in our lives. We create lots in our lives, yet we have this feeling and this extreme fear of failure. So let me ask you a question. By the way, if you're going to find, I always mention that you're going to find you're going to find all of these podcasts and lots more on my website. So go to QuranicConnection.tv, QuranicConnection.tv, where you will find all of the podcasts. You will find other courses that I've courses that I've run, courses that I've put up there for you, some free courses, some paid courses, different stuff. But look, this is a life coaching podcast, and what we're focusing on in this session is failure. But in the podcast itself, I'm actually coaching you to be able to coach yourself and your clients through the various different challenges we face in life. And that includes your business, that includes your showing up in life and succeeding at the highest level. My goal with this is to succeed at the highest level. So don't lose yourself in this podcast is all about failure. Listen, failure is the key to success. And you're going to understand what I'm talking about by the time we get to the end of this. But let me ask you a question. We talk about failure as being something that we want to avoid. And whenever you're thinking that you're going to fail something, most people, they decide to fail right from the offset. They decide to fail from the offset because they're so scared about the failure, they actually sabotage themselves right from the beginning. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that in this, but more importantly, I'm going to talk to you about how to actually win every single year. We're coming to the end of the year, we're in the last quarter, we're coming to the end of the year, and it's that time of year where people start setting themselves goals. I'm not talking about New Year's resolutions, I'm talking about setting themselves goals for the coming year to create the year that they want. And let me be completely frank with you. You really, really, really need to set goals in your life, because goals give you a point of focus. They give you something that you're going to be working towards creating. And if you're not creating anything in life, then you're gonna really be upset with yourself. After a period of time goes by, let's just say a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you haven't set any goals for yourself, you haven't created any dream in your life, you're going to feel like your life is directionless. And this is what a lot of people suffer from. They feel like they're going nowhere in life. And I tell you why, because they're not deciding ahead of time where they want to go. So if you want to get somewhere and you want to achieve something, you got to decide ahead of time. And that's including how you want to feel, how you want to grow, not especially in including. Like primary is that you got to grow as a person. Because if you grow as a person, then your relationships grow. If you grow as a person, your business grows, your career grows, your life grows. And life is about evolving. Like, yes, like we are created on a natural disposition of the fitrah, which is a natural state of goodness, right? But within that, we're on a journey. We're on a journey and we're evolving. And if you're not evolving, you're going to feel like you're stuck. You're going to feel prehistoric. You're going to feel like you're still doing the same old stuff that you were doing as a kid. And you're not going to enjoy that. Because when you first did those things as a kid or a teenager, you loved it. It was new. It's no longer new. You've been doing it for ages, right? So the thing is, anyway, let's get back to the point. Like, goals are important. And one of the problems that we all have is that we fear failing those goals, right? So you feel like you're battling with failed goals year in, year out. And this happens to a lot of people, right? Even those people that are super successful, like in one area of life. So you're struggling with those same old challenges, right? You're struggling with those same old challenges. And worst of all, you keep setting yourself the same goal every year, never realizing them. So you really start to become bogged down in this, in this feeling or these thoughts that you're having. You're such a failure. You have this never-ending waswas. That's, these whispers that are constantly at you, like grinding you down. And the interesting thing is, you've actually been successful in many areas of life, but this one area that you really want to develop, like it really, really drags you down. And you see, the thing is, everyone else could be looking at you thinking, what a great person. Like, how successful is he or she? Like, you've achieved so much, so many great things. How could you possibly not be happy? That's what they're saying to you. And you're thinking, yeah, I'm totally grateful for all those things. But really, inside, you're feeling like a fake. You feel like there's really a lack of integrity, and that, you're not authentic, and that you can't do this anymore. And you don't want to say anything to anyone because you're worried that you're going to look ungrateful. You're not appreciating things, and you're worried about that. But inside, you're feeling it. That's the problem, right? And the funny thing is, you've taken courses, you've done all sorts of stuff to develop yourself as a person, but you still feel like you're no further. And that can really suck the life and joy out of your daily life. And I get it. Many of us, we struggle with these things, right? But here's the thing. When this happens, like, who's beating you up? Is it that other people are beating you up, or is it that you are giving yourself a mental beating? You really need to. This is so important to realize, because we do this to ourselves, and we don't even realize it. And then we allow this to spiral out of control. So the worst thing is probably that you have someone like me come along, then remind you about the verse of the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa was'aha. Like, he doesn't burden a soul. He doesn't burden a person with what they can't handle. That means that you can absolutely handle your life, because everything that you've got in your life is manageable. And now you really give yourself a beating, because then you start to ask yourself, well, how come I can't handle it? Everyone else can. So let me give you some good news here. And it's true, right? You can handle it. Like, you can handle everything in your life. The problem is that you're probably telling yourself you can't, right? But I can tell you can absolutely handle your life. And the great thing is that you don't have to go through this terrible, horrible, emotional meltdown if you can actually realize what's going on in your life, right? So look, I really want you to get two things out of this, right? Number one is that there is nothing wrong with you. Like, you may be thinking, there must be something wrong with me. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter how much I get. I'm never happy. Well, look, there is nothing wrong with you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has always taken care of you. Always, up until now. And is continuously taking care of you. Number one. Number two, you can absolutely handle life. You can handle life, and you can handle anything that goes on in your life as long as you stay in reality. The minute you lose yourself in those horrible thoughts of yours, then you're going to find it difficult to handle. And so let's take the example of failing with our goals, with it being the last quarter of the year. Like, I want to focus in on that, because look, failure, like how to handle failure, you can apply this across the board. But if we look at your goals, your personal stuff, that the personal goals that you want to achieve, whether it's a career, whether it's business, whether it's your personal development, like, you've probably set yourself some goals in your life every single year that you're having to reset every new year, because you're finding that you're not achieving them. And maybe it's a personal goal to be a better person, right? To become the best version of you. But you keep losing it with your kids, or you keep losing your temper, or you keep having mood swings of some sort. And you said that this year it would be different. You would stop this. So now we're in the last quarter and you're still doing it. Whatever it is that your outburst or your mood swings or whatever it is that you're challenged with, you're still doing it, and you're really beating yourself up over it, because you're thinking, well, another year's gone by and you're still doing it. And at this point, you probably don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself to make those same goals again, because it's just going to be another year. And so you get to a point where you start to feel a little bit hopeless, right? But I said to you that actually you can change all of that, right? You can change all of that, and you can handle everything, and you can make it work, right? That means that everything in your life is something that you can figure out. Everything is something that you can work out. There is nothing that cannot be resolved. So as soon as you recognize that, you know that, number one, there is nothing wrong with you. Number two, yeah, you have some challenges, but you can resolve that, because the most compassionate, the most merciful is always on your side, right? So the thing is, failure is something that you want to avoid. But here's the thing, you cannot avoid failure if you want to succeed. You cannot avoid failure if you want to succeed. Like true failure, the kind of failure that we don't want to experience, is the kind of failure that people choose. And what I mean by that is that they decide right from the offset that they're not going to do something because they think they're going to fail. And because of their fear of failure, they actually don't set out and do anything. And that's true failure, right? But the kind of failure that you want to embrace is the failure of trying it out, the failure of experimentation. Like you try it out. Like, look, with my clients, my coaches, as I'm training them, the number one thing that I focus on is that you've got to embrace this type of failure, because this is not true failure. We tell ourselves it's failure, but really what it is experimentation. Like, we're busy in trying to figure it out. And the thing about that is that you've always got you've always got Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala supporting you all the way. So you've got a safety net. You can never fail as long as you keep on trying. And the thing is, if you keep on experimenting, if you keep on trying, you're absolutely going to find the way to do it, the way to resolve it, the way to make it happen. Failure is only if you decide from the offset that it's not going to work and you actually take no action, you decide not to do it. That is failure. So, number one, you can do it. You've got support. You're not alone. And there's nothing wrong with you. Number two, you can absolutely handle it. Whatever it takes, you can make it happen. Right? Now, we're in the last quarter and you're still trying to make your dreams happen. So the thing is, like, you got to be real. You got to be real. Like, have you tried something different? Like, one of the problems I see is that people try the same thing over and over again, even though it doesn't work, and they keep on doing it. It doesn't work, but they're not looking at the feedback. Instead, they're feeling failure. They're feeling like they're messing this up, and they keep on doing the same thing. Failure is when you keep on doing the same thing and you're not changing it. You're not changing it. You've got tenacity. You're like in there, in the trenches, doing as much as you can. But listen, you've got to look at the feedback as well, because if it's not working, you've got to change it up a little. You've got to change things to make it work. You've got to change things and experiment with things to figure it out. And that's how life works. The entire life process is like that. And you've always got a safety net. You've always got Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala supporting you, so you don't have to worry about that. And the fact is, I said to you that, you know, the verse of Surah Al-Baqarah, that verse, it tells you clearly that you're not going to be burdened with what you can't handle. That means you can handle it. That means you can handle it. That means that you're okay. You're going to be all right regardless. So look, one of the problems that people have is that they have these emotional, you know, they feel like they can't change their feelings, that they have this emotional outburst, and this derails them. This makes things go wrong. But really, sometimes we just revert back to our habits that we've created, and the worst of those habits is the habitual thinking that we're a failure, or that we can't handle it, or that, you know, it's never going to work. Because that type of thinking will force your reality to become exactly what you're thinking about, right? So if you want to win, you've got to change the thinking. If you want to win, you've got to change the way you feel about things. You've got to get excited about things. And you've got to try out different ways of doing it. And you've got to be in the race to win it. If you're not in the race, you're not going to win it. You're not even going to come second or third. You've got to be in the race to win it. Right? And the race is just the journey of life. That means you got to try things out. You got to be doing it. You got to try it. And if it doesn't work, you change it. You change things up. And you will, no doubt, you will find a way. But you see, the problem that people have with failure and goals and these sorts of things is that they expect to fail right from the offset. They expect to fail right from the offset. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. They make it happen. They make that failure happen because that's what they expect. And you will get in life what you expect. So if you can change your expectations, if you can change your thinking about what the outcome's going to be, you're going to find that the outcome will change as well. Because the only one that's taking action to make that outcome happen is you. Or the only one that's not taking action, that is suffering from inaction because of their fear of failure, is you. And so the results, they're only ever going to be created by the actions that you take. Results in life are only ever created by the actions we take. So that means if you're not taking enough action, nothing's going to happen. If you're taking, minimal action, minimal is going to happen. You got to take massive action. You got to become enthusiastic about your life, and you got to try out different things, and it will work. Like life will work. Life always works, and you can handle it. And you gotta be very, look, you got to tell yourself that it will always be okay. And the way you know that is that you got to be okay today, because that's what it is. The key is you got to feel good about yourself right from the offset. You got to be excited about your journey today, because today is the only time that you're present. This is life. Like, the only time that you can enjoy is this moment. So if you put off your happiness for a future moment when you achieve whatever goal you're trying to achieve, then you're never going to be happy, right? And you're gonna have a miserable journey. And the journey of life is life. The destination is not life. The journey is life. So you gotta enjoy your journey now, and you got to be committed to being happy now, not in the future. You can't put it off. You got to be happy now. If you want to create like a happy future, you got to be happy now. If you want to create this amazing future, you gotta experience an amazing life now, and that's all a choice. It's about getting excited about your life. It's about the way you think about your life today. Like this makes all the difference. If you tell yourself you can't handle it and life's so hard and it's so difficult, then guess what? You're going to feel like life is so hard and so difficult and that you can't handle it. But if you tell yourself the opposite, that you can totally handle it, that you have the support of Ar-Rahman, who's always been merciful to you, you have that support, you have everything you need now, then guess what's going to happen? You're going to look around your life and you're going to find lots of things to be grateful about right now. Ingratitude is not going to help you ever, because it's going to bring you from a place of negativity, and you're not going to be able to create something positive out of negativity. So you can be grateful right now. You can look at your life and be happy about exactly what's going on. Listen, happiness is a choice. Now, don't think for a second that you got to be happy 24 hours a day, because that's paradise. That's not dunya, right? So living in the world, like, we have a flurry of different emotions. Like, accept it for what it is. They're just emotions. But what you focus on is you focus on being grateful. You focus on being present right now in your life and enjoying the journey. Because if you can enjoy the journey, listen, you will enjoy the whole of your life. If you can't enjoy the journey, you will not enjoy your life, because the life is the journey. It is not the destination. Destination is Jannah. It's paradise, right? Destination is Jannah, but the journey is life. And that means if you want to have a good time, you got to choose to have a good time. You can't put off having a good time for Jannah. You can't put it off for when I get there, when I achieve that goal, because otherwise you will never achieve those goals, because you're always waiting to be happy before you can achieve a goal. Because you can't have, inspired thinking. You can't have great ideas. You can't be someone who creates like amazing things in the world if you're coming from a place of negativity, because you're gonna find that it's all a bit of a mess, because of the thoughts are all messy. But if you can clear away that mess and have like grateful thoughts, happy thoughts, like good expectations, hope, then you're gonna find that you can create whatever you want. And listen, struggle is a part of the game. You got to be committed to today. Don't be committed to a future. Be committed to today. Because if you create like a day where you're committed to your life, you're committed to just today, then you're going to have that same old self-fulfilling prophecy, except that your commitment to today, your commitment to being grateful, your commitment to actually taking action today to make your life happen is life. And if you have lots of days like today, you're going to create a pretty amazing life. We create it, folk. We create it. We create that state of happiness or unhappiness. We create that state of joy, or we create the state of misery by making these thoughts of ours real. But look, the solution is in the choices you make. Make the choice to be happy. Make the choice to be grateful. Make the choice to take action. Make the choice to actually be disciplined in committing to yourself, committing to your life, committing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And guess what happens? If you do that, every year is a success. And before you know it, you'll find all of your goals are just coming to fruition. They're just coming into your life. Because Al-Kareem, Al-Mannan is just, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most generous, is just flooding your life with everything that you expected from Him. So ask yourself, who says you can't handle it? Who says that? Because it's certainly not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Listen, you can handle it. There's no doubt about it. And you have the time you need. So don't lie to yourself that you don't have what it takes, you can't handle it, and that there's something wrong with you, because it's all a lie. Even if it's subconsciously, you're telling yourself this, it's all a lie. And the fact is, you can totally do this. You can totally do this. You can handle this, and you can love your life today. It's a choice. Like, love it. It's a choice. Like, truly, I can't, I would love to just program your mind with this one thought, because I know that it would serve you in the most profound way. It is a choice, and you can love it. And if you love it, you're going to create like an amazing life, an amazing day. Look, that's all you need to focus on. Create a great day. Create a day that you can be happy with. Create a day where you are connected to the most merciful. Create a day where you are serving, where you are helping other people. Create a day that's not just about serving yourself. Create a day where you are serving, and you will find that your life is full of blessings, and you will be happy today and every day. But that's all a choice, and you can do it. But don't just because I say happy every day doesn't mean that you're not going to have miserable moments. It's just an emotion. It can't do anything to you. As long as you stay dedicated and committed to your life. So listen, we're coming to the end of the year. I'm going to be running a short program, like a weekend program, all about creating the best life, all about managing your emotions, all about like really getting over your obstacles and creating a life that you want to create. It's going to be coming up soon. If you want to check it out, go to QuranicConnection.tv/transformation. QuranicConnection.tv/transformation. And I call it transformation because we're going to focus on transforming your life. Like, you're going to transform it. You're going to transform it. You have the power to do that. But you got to dedicate to your life. You got to be committed to making things happen. You got to stop being committed to making failures happen. Like, you can decide on what type of failure do you want. Do you want the type of failure that where you never try out anything in life, or do you want the type of failure that's just a stepping stone to your success, where you can enjoy it every day instead of waiting for a future day? My advice is take the latter. You can do this. Look, I shared a lot of information here. Like, if this podcast resonates with you, but you're not quite getting it, listen to it again. Listen to it again. Think deeply. When I ask you the questions, ask yourself the questions, and you're going to see that things start to unfold. And you can do this. Like, I keep saying that because I absolutely 100% believe it. 100%. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with that until the next one. Assalamu alaikum.